everyone, and welcome to TG's Ramadan Majlis. Apologies for being 5 minutes late, a bit of technical difficulties over there. Perfect. So, before we get started, just wanted to explain into what is TG Ramadan's Majlis and why are we actually doing it. TG's Ramadan Majlis aims to bridge the gap between the knowledge gap between the fintech ecosystem and the wider community. We've realized at Tarabut Gateway, we're having a lot of conversations about innovation, digital transformation, open banking, but usually these conversations are contained within the financial services sector and just within professionals within the sector and not extended to the wider community. While financial services actually is important to everyone, which is why we want to extend this conversation further, have you on board, ask us as many questions as you'd like. We're here to clarify your doubts. Today's topic is investing in MENA's well-being. I have here with me a very special guest. We have here Maisa Shunnar. Maisa is the Group Chief Digital Transformation of National Bank of Bahrain Group. Mesa has substantial experience in digital transformation and business process re-engineering. She champions change and transformation across the group, driving strategic business transformation initiatives aimed at streamlining group's functions to achieve optimal performance. Welcome, Mesa. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. How are you?
Great. Thank you, Dania, for having me.
We're super excited about the main discussion, but I think before we get into the main discussion, just wanted to set a bit of context into why are we talking about financial well-being and what is financial well-being really. So financial well-being is the ability for you to manage your day-to-day finances without financial stress and having the financial freedom to live your life normally. I mean, it sounds simple, but not really if you look at how much financial stress people actually have in the MENA region. Being financially literate and having financial well-being is linked to basically understanding your financial position and being able to make more informed decision. And if we look at the region over here, we see that there are very low rates in terms of financial well-being and literacy. People are stressed out about money, maybe because of our culture, maybe because of the community where money is taboo and we don't just talk about money, I guess, here in the region. Mesa, before kind of I get into it, just wanted to get your input on why do you think financial well-being is important? Because we do know that from an economic perspective, it does improve the GDP, it does help with people's well-being. A recent study actually showed as well that financial stress costs government. A recent study in the UK showed that financial stress costed the UK government around 121 billion pounds, which is a lot of money. So why are we talking about financial well-being? Would love to get your input on that.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. As you rightly said it, financial well-being is very important to everybody. Obviously, it's dear because money is dear to our hearts. Why? Because it helps us, educate our kids. It helps us have a quality life, and it helps us, see our kids and their future. And that's why banks have been recently touching on this and making sure that they understand very well this aspect. And why is this very important to customers other than just making money? How can they actually reach out to the customers? How can they bridge the gap? How they can personalize their customer experience? Because money is extremely important. And in Bahrain, as you rightly said, I think the financial sector is maybe makes more than 17.2% or even now more. So why is this important? Why you see all the banks are changing? Why you see all the other retailers like, Google and Alipay and all the Amazon are actually, why are they into consumer banking? Is because of this importance and significance into how money plays, significant roles in people's life. So you see Facebook even into trying to get into the consumer banking. They're all trying to learn more about the customer. This is why Amazon bought Whole Foods, also because they want to learn more how the customer, their spending behaviors, everything, so that they can respond to them better, serve them better, obviously, keep their customer base and attract more. So this is in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And I know you guys have been doing an amazing job in terms of helping give people easy to use tools to understand their financial position and easy to use services as well. So, I mean, in your opinion, where are we in our journey of increasing financial literacy, and what are banks doing to help with that? How are they making people's lives easier with these new digital services that we've been seeing?
Yeah. So see, Dania, different banks have different strategies, and but you can see Bahrain, mashallah, is doing great in the digital front of the financial services. As you can see this year and the year before, how many digital banks and the services or apps for different banks have been released, and how it's changing the behavior of the customers, and actually adding to the literacy, the digital literacy. Because simply if you have a traditional channel and now that you are replacing it with a digital, if you have I want to say the traditional channel, which is like say the branch, and you are now offering your services through alternative channels, so that you are increasing the literacy, you are teaching the customers that they probably have never actually used these mediums, now that they have to bank through app as opposed to going to the branches. So also you're doing that for the ecosystem itself. Yani مثلا for your employees, you are unlearning and learning, you are increasing the skills, you are adapting and moving on a fast pace actually to keep going with what's going on. So you just don't notice, as if that after a while there is a lot of capacity have been built through your team, through even your customers. The way that your customers start, they're demanding, they start asking for different things. Even the communication is changing. Now it's becoming focused more into digital stuff. There is process maturity on how to deal with these new channels, be it kiosk or mobile or e-banking in general. So that all is increasing. We're also talking about now chatbots, and you are actually employing the artificial intelligence into conversing with customers and teaching them to bridge the gap, and they become more savvy, more loyal to you, because now they use the digital, you enable the digital and your technology to make them more friendlier, more engaged with you, and sticking also. So yeah, it all works in a dynamic way, in a at a fast pace, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, from your experience, would love to learn more about how are customers actually responding to that. You've mentioned the things that you've been doing at your side. Are customers actually engaging with you on these new services? Can you tell us
Yeah.
more about that?
Yeah, so we do have obviously different customers, and we do have different ages, and we have different people. So we're trying to cater to the multi-experience customer. So you must be able to serve the customer at any point, any time, in any format he wishes to, at any time where he left, he needs to pick up from where he left. In any مثلا today I just was in the branch, maybe I did something, I would like to go and finish it in kiosk or from my home and the couch using my mobile. Different ages group, obviously. Some people, it depends also on the nature of the products, if it needs some kind of investment, yani, so people would like to speak to someone, and that's when I talked about the artificial intelligence and how you make it conversational also. And also some other people would like to talk to a human being, other people would just do the whole thing fast using the mobile. So we know that there are different segments, and we cater for these segments. And it doesn't mean like everybody has to use one channel or another. Everybody is free to use whatever. I don't think that we should even think about closing branches as we speak, because we still feel that there is a need for this human touch, and some people would love to come to branches, talk to humans, and for certain services it is still there, and it will be there for a while. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think from a customer expectation and customer behavior as well, everything is accessible to customers right now, right? I can
Absolutely.
order whatever I want sitting right here on the couch. People are just used to that behavior, and they're starting to expect that from their banks as well, right?
Yeah,
If I need to go to the mall, I need my bank there. If I need to carry out a transaction, I should be able to do it on my phone. So being accessible on all these kind of platforms and locations, like you said, is very important right now for
absolutely.
customers.
Absolutely.
We've talked about customers, Mesa. Let's talk about more about how banks are becoming enablers to fintechs and how they're helping fintechs in terms of stimulating growth and innovation. From a digital transformation perspective and the rise of fintechs, initially when fintechs, and just for everyone kind of listening to us, don't want to use jargon, fintechs are companies that use financial technology. When fintechs came on board, they were initially perceived as threats. Will we need banks? Will we have branches anymore? Now, in terms of this conversation, it's not that anymore. Right now, we're seeing how fintechs are not competition to the banks, but in fact, partners to the banks. And I know through our efforts
Absolutely.
with Talent Gateway and BISB, you guys have been supporting us from day one. So, what is the bank's perspective in terms of supporting the growth generally within the sector?
Yeah, I mean, just I don't think one can go without the another. Meaning, the banks, of course, they have taken different approaches. Some banks they collaborated with some fintechs to create something and to support each other. Others they invested and they invested in fintechs, and others they just altogether acquired the fintechs. So it's very important because fintech they are very good at coming up with a solution that is has not been actually the banks are not being able to do, and what they do is they're very good at just breaking, let's say, the financial, like the bank, and excelling in an area or another. Say, for example, payments. Banks, this is not their industry, so they just need to focus and collaborate with the banks or the fintechs, partner with them in solving a particular problem, like we said, the payments. And obviously, fintechs, they needed the business mind or the business, let's say, experience and the customer base with the customers. They needed, that the customers, they trust the banks more. So because of this works very good, the partnership between the fintech and the banks. So basically, I
Exactly.
think both of them, they need each other. For us, BISP, we partnered with many fintechs. We partnered with Tarabut before, and we partnered with others. As we speak, we're doing a proof of concept through building credit scores in the new digital lab of central bank. We have other implementations, but we feel it's a very good and successful relationship. And I don't think it's fintech there are to destroy banks or the other way around. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's for everyone to work together. And I think you touched upon a very important point initially when you said banks here are here to cater to the wider market. Their target segment is a lot wider than these fintechs. Fintechs usually specialize with a certain vertical or a certain use case. They excel
Absolutely.
at that and then collaborate with banks to bring it to the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And from that front, what can we expect more in the years to come? I think you touched upon one thing which is really, I think, popular and people like kind of debating about it. Are branches going to be there? Will we not need branches? That is, I think we've answered it. We do need branches for the given time, but what can we expect more within the years to come?
So, Dania, the thing is, I keep always thinking, and I refer back to the internet. At the time it was created, and people were thinking that it is revolutionary, and they talked a lot about disintermediation and the absence or the disappearance of many businesses. But really, what happened, there was really unbundling and re-intermediation to some businesses. فمثلا, for example, if there was marketing, it did not disappear, but marketing now, they're doing their business through internet in a different way. So if you're going to think about actually, which is more important even of the branches, whether they stay or not, if you're thinking about this big move towards, the global access to liquidity through the public blockchain, and you're thinking just recently what we heard about Visa, and they're offering a debit card in cryptocurrency. So what that means is you just go and you pay, debit card. They're having their partners issuing this debit cards and using cryptocurrency. So if I go and pay, I just use my debit cards, and the merchant wouldn't know that I am paying with the cryptocurrency. But in the background, the clearing is linked to, the issuer is linking to Bitcoin maybe wallet that is doing the clearing. So the customer will get back the fiat money. But all of this, what it means now, if we think about it more, so Visa used to do the clearing in a closed system with their banks alone. So now what they're saying, if you have liquidity, you could actually clear the settlement and do the settlements, clear this transaction through the public blockchain. What does it mean to the banks? It means that you are actually, there's no more intermediate banks, or for example, correspondent banks, the SWIFT messages, all of that. So when I started by saying it reminds me the internet with a public blockchain, it's like if we apply it to the financial services, we feel like there will be unbundling to the banking services into different services and re-intermediation. So for example, if we are saying, we used to give, we finance projects. Now the banks will actually, in the new format, and using keeping in mind the public access to liquidity that we are seeing it, that's inevitable, it's happening. The banks, instead of, keeping, not noticing what's going on, they would like actually to start unbundling the services and saying, for example, I can give loans, but maybe I can direct the customers on where to find the liquidity on the blockchain, and maybe I can just take also 20% of it, I'll do the finance. So there will be change of the way banks are operating. The business model itself will change. So that's why the bank, you will see lots of use cases in trade finance, in project finance, just on this, because of this global access to liquidity, that it is coming in the 5-10 years, I don't know when, but it is, we can see it since Visa started doing that. Make no mistake that this is something is happening, and we're seeing some banks like JP Morgan and others are actually trying to create their own currency, digital currency, and then trying also to have a stable coins and working in that direction. So this is what is the thing that we are thinking the most about recently.
Absolutely, absolutely. Could not have said it in a better way. We have time to take one question from the audience. How has COVID played a part in influencing new solutions and innovation? I think we touched upon it a bit earlier, but if you can tell us more about that.
Well, obviously, if everybody is saying that, we're saying that it accelerated our transformation agenda, digital transformation agenda, obviously, because we all know that we had to allow for, alternative channels. We have to close some branches. Obviously, we have to make sure that there is enough social distances. And how can we do that? It was by providing alternative services on different channels. Like, for example, mobile was our best choice because people are in their houses, they don't need to leave. So then they should be able to use their mobile, or else kiosk, because also kiosk, you stand in the kiosk by yourself, you do your transaction and you leave. So we did release many services. It was there, it was in our plan to do it. But we wanted to do the revenue generated services first. like the onboarding and then the what have you. But then after the COVID came in the picture, we expedited these services, اللي هي maintenance services we call it, so that we are able to, for example, at one point to close the branches and serve our customers in alternative channels. So yeah, definitely. So even the regulators were like approving these services faster. Our internal controls, whether security or risk or compliance, those were always, being very, very difficult and scrutinizing everything we do. Not that they didn't, but they're just doing it faster because, now it's something that we had to do. So yeah, it was, good for us from one aspect. Unfortunately, it wasn't great for the economy and for the world, but it helped us accelerate a lot of services on different channels.
For sure. And I think it's shaped just the financial services moving forward. Things have changed a lot. And I think customers right now are really happy with the new services, digital services that came about. People that did not want to test them out before were put where they had to because of COVID and lockdown and all of that. This was a
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. I mean, I could go on and on and on with you, but we're running out of time, Maisa. Thank you so much for being
Thank
part
you.
of Ramadan Majlis. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.